listening to the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS podcast with hosts John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Better Baseball MLB DFS live stream here. We are breaking down today's 5-game main slate on Thursday. A little quick switcher up there on the intro. You know, I had the outro going. I had the intro in. You know, it's fine. We got 5 games here. It's been a busy day. We got a lot going on. We still have an NFL football game to get to later on as well. But 5-game baseball slate hits first at 7 o'clock here. I did the playbook that is live on the Fantasy Alarm webpage right now. It's posted in the Discord, so you can go check that one out. Pretty interesting for a 5-game slate because we have Coors Field. We have the Dodgers in Coors Field, so obviously very expensive plays there. We have Atlanta on this slate. We like the Cubs in their matchup. So pitching wise, there wasn't a lot of great value, but we didn't have any like true spend ups here. So overall, a pretty, even though a smaller slate, I think we can see a lot of different looking lineup builds tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting, like, we've seen it the last couple nights. Pablo Lopez last night taken out after 70 pitches because they want to set him up for game 1.
Yeah.
Everyone playing tonight, like Texas, Seattle, playoff implication. Miami, playoff implication. Chris Bassett and the Blue Jays, playoffs. Like Cubs, playoffs. Atlanta, they're starting Smith Shawver, so they can extend him to keep their bullpen as fresh as possible heading into the post. There's a lot of meaningful baseball being played tonight with all like the good players, and then you have Coors sprinkled on top of that. And I was surprised. The Dodgers, I guess they could technically, if they win out, be the 1 seed overall. But I believe Atlanta owns the tiebreaker, so I guess maybe I'm just speaking. But the Dodgers playing like everyone tonight, like their starting lineup is all their starters, except for Will Smith. But like, just kind of surprised to see like the Dodgers just rolling everyone out. When we've seen like the Phillies clinch, they rested everyone. Milwaukee clinched, they rested everyone. They gave like all these people days off, and the Dodgers are just out here like, nah, we want to win 100 games and play everybody. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting slate with a lot of good players playing in a lot of meaningful spots.
Yeah, I agree with you there 100%. Weather-wise, we got to look at Miami and New York here again. It's supposed to rain at some point during this game. Hopefully the field's in good enough conditions to withstand that rain during this game here, but that's the one weather concern here. Wind is blowing in. It's getting colder in the Northeast, so some favorable pitching conditions there versus hitting conditions, which is fine because there's a couple of starters that we are looking at for this slate. Before we jump into it, shout out to RT Sports. Go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. New users get a 100% deposit match up to $200 with their first deposit. You can take part in their DFS Pick'em or DFS daily contest that they have over on RT Sports right now. James, breaking down the DraftKings main slate here. We got someone in chat. Mark already here, feeling like a 5-man Marlin.
Someone? You're going to talk to Mark like that? Are you kidding me?
I saw the little blue notification, but I didn't click on the open chat box yet to see who it was that was commenting. But of course, it's Mark.
You don't see that beautiful ocean?
The one waiting. He's probably the one waiting.
Yes, he was definitely the one waiting for sure.
Listen, if you look at the playbook, Marlins are the number 2 stack listed. I like Miami here tonight as well. Even though again, there's going to be some rain, it's cold, wind's blowing in. There's not like some things, not the greatest hitting environment for Miami, but I do like them here this evening. Conversely, I think you could pitch Drew Peterson as well, or David Peterson as well. What's his name? David? Drew?
David.
You could pitch David Peterson there as well. If you wanted to be a little different on this slate with that strikeout upside, you and I have talked about, even that last start, he had 7 strikeouts in it, so the Ks are legitimate for him. But that's the bottom of the pitching tier. Let's just jump up to the top here. Luzardo, Montgomery, Bassett, I think, are just the 3 that are pretty interchangeable on this slate. And if you look at some of the expected rostership here, it's kind of leaning that way. You know, you'll probably get a lot of two-man of that group because there isn't a lot of great value on tonight's slate here. But how are you seeing it?
So it looks like another slate like yesterday, though, because if Mark's suggesting Peterson being chalk, it's like, how can we fit Coors again? How can we fit Dodgers again? I largely agree. I'm not going to touch Logan Gilbert against Texas. you talked about it yesterday. Like you'd be willing to go back to Texas, and then Texas exploded last night. Carter hit a home run. Semien hit a home run. Seager was back in the lineup. Like, all systems were a go. Scored 5, shut out LA. So kind of staying away from Gilbert and his kind of struggles of late. I do like Luzardo. Outside of that one start in Milwaukee, he's been really good of late. Like I know he has been very up and down for a large part of the year. He was really great, and then he hit a really rough patch in like August, and then he's been really good again outside of Milwaukee, who, I mean, he's faced 5 straight playoff teams.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Atlanta, Milwaukee, LA, Tampa. And he's had one bad start. 3 quality starts, hasn't allowed more than 3 earned in any start but the Milwaukee start, and then avenged that against Milwaukee the second time around. So I like Luzardo. Montgomery has probably been the best of all of them, at least in the last 3 starts, 3 straight starts of 7 innings and 1 earned or fewer. He also, I don't know if you saw this, said his wife, he said his wife loves that he's dumb because his wife is a doctor. I thought that was a funny quote. And Chris Bassett, ad nauseum, Yankees versus right-handed pitching has been a thing we've attacked all year. Like, if you can avoid the Aaron Judge double dong, like
or triple dong,
or triple dong, he's done that twice this year. You're probably in good shape, and that's obviously on the table. He has 2 multi-home run games over his last 4, and he's got a lot of home runs recently. After a slow stretch after coming back, but if you can avoid that, Bassett's in a great spot because the Yankees have just struggled against righties all year. I would say Bassett, I would probably rank them in reverse order, truthfully, but I don't know how you see that. I don't know.
Listen, if you're looking at the projected rostership for this slate here, Bassett is actually the lowest rostered of the top 4 price starters. You have Montgomery is actually the lowest of the 4. Bassett and Luzardo are up over 40%. People are playing Peter Gilbert as well. All top 4 starting pitchers are 25% or higher. And then David Peterson is your value chalk play tonight. Almost 40% of the field is playing David Peterson this evening. So maybe you see a lot of Bassett Peterson builds, and then those who are playing Luzardo are figuring out their value, whether it be Yarbrough or Assad or something like that tonight.
I don't want to play David Peterson, man. I mean, we said this last time, right? We stacked against him, and it didn't. It came through, kind of. Earned.
Yeah.
I don't like.
He had 24 and 17 fantasy points at 2 starts. Prior to that, he had 26 against LA. So strikeout potential's there.
Yeah, I mean, he is. We've said that, right? Like, David Peterson strikes people out. 120 strikeouts and 104 innings. That's been his MO. He's just had struggles in between. 16 home runs and 26 outings. 5.3 ERA. His batting average allowed is almost 3. So, like, he's obviously had his struggles. The strikeouts are why people are playing him.
Yeah, but on a small slate, he's got 120 strikeouts and 104 innings.
I would say, like, as a pivot, I would possibly take a look at Puke Weaver, who maybe has dropped the P and picked up the L again. And I don't mean that in the lost sense, but just his name that his parents gave him. He's looked decent in his 2 starts with the Yankees. The Pittsburgh start, 74 pitches, 7 strikeouts was decent. And again, we talked about it on the podcast. Toronto's offense has not looked good this series. And obviously they faced not Luke Weaver. They faced the Cy Young and Michael King, who has looked the part of a every 5th day starter.
Middle of the rotation guy with a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah. So I would probably take a shot on Weaver. Like, if Peterson's where you land on your SP2 because that helps you fit Dodgers, by all means do it. But
yeah, I mean, nobody's playing Weaver with everybody playing Bassett today. I mean, it's obviously, again, the worries there against Toronto's lineup, but Weaver wasn't a terrible pitcher in Arizona all those years ago. It's just like he's just fallen off since then. So we'll see. It's a small slate, so the rosterships are pretty high to get a little different. That's great. Our guy Samson chat saying he came in second in the 50K $3 yesterday.
Hell
Congratulations
yeah, Samson.
to you, sir. I don't know if you're in the Discord or not, man, but throw that screenshot out there. Let the people see it. If you're not, you can get a 7-day free trial of Fantasy Alarm. You can scan the QR code here on the screen. Go to fantasyalarm.com/win. Get your 7-day free trial. Access all the content we have on site in our premium Discord there. So,
congrats, Samson. Hell yeah.
That's a big score, though, dude. The $3.50 mega, dude. Congratulations. A little bankroll builder as we get into the NFL. And if you're an NBA fan, James and I, we are NBA DFS connoisseurs here. We cover all the NBA DFS content at Fantasy Alarm as well. We'll have live streams and podcasts each and every day here. So getting you guys ready for the NBA season coming up. Once baseball this week is the final week of the live stream and podcast for the MLB, with the MLB season ending on Sunday there. So that's our pitching slate here. Again, a lot of people are paying up for one of the top four, and you see Peterson as the chalk value. Yarbrough is your second highest value pitcher here. Again, in cores, not always great, but we don't think much of the Rockies lineup here either.
So I'm a little indifferent there because I do kind of like the Rockies lineup tonight. I know Yarbrough has definitely pitched better since joining the Dodgers. I kind of like the Rockies tonight.
The way to go. I mean, the game stacking is obviously the two highest projected teams in terms of total runs.
Right. I mean, almost 5 implied runs for the Rockies. There's a lot of good pitching elsewhere, and Yarbrough, although pitching well, now has to go into cores. Tovar's been good. Rogers has been good. Nolan Jones has been amazing. That's the middle and top of their lineup. Blackman's been good against lefties all year. Like, I think there's a little more to like about the Rockies tonight than there has been. Again, it is the Rockies, but late season DFS, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Depends, you didn't miss anything. We're still talking pitching here. We got we're big fans of Bassett tonight, and Luzardo and Montgomery are the three spend ups that we're looking at here. For value, the field is seemingly getting to Peterson. I think Yarbrough is kind of in play. James likes Weaver as some dart throw value plays down at the bottom here. Tribute, we're going to break down our favorite stacks at the end of the show. Just hang with us. We go position by position here. Yes, obviously Atlanta and Colorado, or Atlanta and LA are going to be top stacks here, but there's definitely a stack that we do like, which I guess is going to be pretty low roster now that we know Peterson is going to be a highly rostered pitcher here, because we do like Miami this evening. But let's go on over to catcher. Unfortunately, we can't. Jan Gomes was our spot during the podcast because the lefty was on the mound. That is no longer the case. If you're not going Bassett, you've talked a lot about Austin Wells and the power that's starting to come around. 3 homers over the last 10. Lefties do give Chris Bassett his troubles on the year. But if you're not going there, I mean, catcher runs out of some plays pretty quickly. What's the spots you're looking to go here, James?
I mean, Wells is the spot, I think. And you said 3 in his last 10. I'll condense that a little more. 3 in his last 5. He's just specifically been on this little power surge, and he's an offensive first catcher. He's been pretty good in the minors in terms of defense too, but he definitely is going to be a pretty good catching option for the Yankees moving forward. It's a crappy position, dude. You can obviously play d'Arnaud if you wanted to, but he's looked terrible of late. You can play Alejandro Kirk if you want. He's also looked terrible, but so has Luke Weaver for a large portion of the year. I would say if you're punting the position, I've already said I have some affinity for the Rockies tonight. Austin Wynns is behind the plate, and he's not great, just hitting .215 on the year. But when you look at Austin Wynns' more condensed version, his last 10 games, he's 9 for his last 29, which is the .310 average. You're talking about a guy at 2,600 in cores, gets a lefty, hitting over 300 over his last 10 games. And, that's just kind of where I'd go. A cheap catcher in cores to create salary elsewhere. Conversely, if you want to play Austin Barnes, you can play Austin Barnes, who has hits in 3 of his last 4 plus fantasy points in 4 straight. Another cheap catcher in cores. Not to say either of these guys are world beaters at all, because they're not very good offensive players, but cores does a little something to you when you head there for offensive option purposes.
Yeah, 100%. You never really know which way you're going to go when it comes to the catcher spot there. Especially course, always a spot to be in play. Moving on over to first place, get a little first base, get a little bit more excited about some spots here. Again, Freeman, Olsen, your top guys up there. You have Bellinger. People do like the Cubs here this evening as another top end spend up. If you're not in on Luzardo, you know the power that Olsen has, Alonso has against lefties.
Yeah. He has been good, or at least for one day he was good, where he went 4 for 4 in the second leg of that doubleheader and homered, or first leg of the doubleheader, I should say, and they torched Braxton Garrett. But I would rather probably just get to Freeman, who's now homered in back-to-back days in Coors and has looked good, or I'd rather get up to Olsen than I know we save a bunch of money going down to Alonso, but I don't know, man. All the reports of him not being a hard worker and stuff, and now he just happens to be in the worst slump of his season coming right after that. I don't like it's bad business for me. I'm probably gonna stay away.
Sure. I mean, losing does not breed good work ethic. So,
Sure.
that definitely certainly can be a thing. In the mid tier, you have Brandon Belt and then Josh Bell here at 38 and 3,900. I know you said maybe some Colorado. So you have Montero here at 34 in the mid tier. I imagine getting some exposure there.
Yeah, I like Josh Bell quite a bit. Your shout there. He's been monstrous against left-handed pitching, and I do like Elihuris Montero. He's been better against right-handed pitching, I should say, this year. But last year he was really good against lefties. So I don't know why the trains kind of stopped there. He does have a 155 ISO against lefties, so there is some pop there.
Sure. And then for value, I guess if you're not in on Olsen, you do have Vientos. Is he in the lineup here?
He is. Yep.
Yeah,
hitting fifth.
Yeah, Vientos at 2,700 hitting fifth here. Again, some power, younger player, probably a bit more motivated to perform, right, and get a spot on the team next year. So a little refresh. So we got Kevin Biggio, lefty against Weaver, hitting fifth at 28. And we got Vientos at 27 here against Luzardo.
Hey, man. Blue Jays going for a pennant or trying to make the playoffs here, and Kevin Biggio fifth. That's all you need to know.
I mean, listen, he aside from the last 3 games, he was on a nice little run there for a little bit. So
yeah, he did have a good late August, early September stretch
there. Yeah, he did. Not not on the slate. I don't need to besmirch Xander Bogaerts. So I was looking at his baseball reference page yesterday. He had 4 months where he hit 220 with 600 OPS. And then in September, he's hitting 400, so his numbers actually look good, but he's garbage. Yeah. Second base here, Betts and Albies are the two I'm looking to spend up for.
Yeah, I mean, no issues if you want to get to either of those guys. Right. No issues if you want to get to either of those guys. Albies is on a different planet right now. 422 average over his last 10. Atlanta. I mean, just another guy with 30, 100. It's just insane.
Nobody's really playing the Braves here this evening. So if you want to be a little different, pivot off the Dodgers, the Braves would be the way to go. After that, 2 value plays are top of the charts. Brendan Rodgers at 36 and then John Birdie at 3K. Your next 2 highest projected rostered second baseman here. John Birdie was insane during the doubleheader yesterday. 6 for 7 with a homer, a triple, a double, stolen base. I mean, what more could you ask for on John Birdie in a doubleheader?
Dude, honestly, Samson's lineup probably had both because we've been screaming all week. We've been screaming about John Birdie and Brendan Rodgers. I feel like we've been trying to tell people please play Brendan Rodgers, please play John Birdie, and do it again tonight. Brendan Rodgers hitting third, John Birdie leading off, both in the advantageous spot in their split. What more do we need to tell you? You can play them both. Play John Birdie over at shortstop.
Definitely can play them both here on tonight's slate. Rodgers has the second base, but Birdie has that shortstop eligibility, going to be helping out some of that rostership there for him as well. Third base position, Muncy, Riley, Berger, top 3 for me. I think I've plugged more Berger in my lineups than Muncy and Riley, though, today.
Same. Way better price. Guy is he's just been on one. And again, he hits lefties. He hit lefty. I mean, we played Jake Berger so much when he was on the White Sox against lefties.
We had the receipts. So that's always good. We were on Jake Berger when he was like $2,800, something like that.
$2,800 and
Yeah.
hitting nothing but home runs
Nothing
for
but
the
home
White
runs.
Sox, and it was all against lefties. And just so happened this year he has a 342 ISO with a 396 WOBA against lefties. Nothing bad, nothing too bad. 342 WOBA
Seems
against
decent.
left-handed. Yeah, seems decent. I agree on the three that you mentioned, but I do put Berger, price point factored in, like baked in there as the
Yeah.
top dog.
I know Chris Taylor doesn't have the right split for us here, but he is hitting sixth. So, and we know he's got, 15 homers and 16 stolen bases on the year, hitting the middle of the Dodgers
Yeah.
lineup. So, you want like probably a contrarian Dodgers play tonight. Take Chris Taylor, third base outfield eligibility, gives you a little bit of value that most people probably aren't looking to get to here this evening. At the shortstop position, Seager's a full go. You want to run him right back out there, that's fine. Bichette is basically free over on FanDuel today. He's like $3,000. So I haven't played a lot of Toronto or Bichette this year, but yeah, I don't think Weaver's all that good. I know lately he's been better, but if you want to take a stab as a one-off Bichette on FanDuel, I think that is very much in play.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been a obvious down year. You could point right to the stolen bases. We'll find out if there's been something lingering all year that is not letting him run. I just don't know if there's upside at 5,100. Truthfully, yeah, he
Oh
could
no,
go on
I
a
said
home run.
FanDuel only.
Oh,
FanDuel
FanDuel.
only.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, FanDuel only. Then
yeah,
yes,
$3,000 FanDuel only
sure,
one-off play. I'm not touching him.
sure,
I'd find the money for Seager
yeah,
or go down to Lindor for $200.
sure, agreed.
Um, again, Birdie plays shortstop. More likely to plug him in there on my lineups and DraftKings this evening. Felt the same way about Taylor. You can do Kike as well if you want to just get guys on the Dodgers that no one's going to play and hope they come through, like Peralta last night, right? Like we weren't playing Peralta, we were playing Hayward and all that crew. Then Peralta has a decent little game at some low rostership. So if you wanted to plug those guys in, like more power to you, no arguments. But shortstop really doesn't have much. I think it's Seager or it's Birdie, and you're moving on. Anybody that you potentially are in on more?
Yeah, Ezekiel Tovar. He's hit lefties really well. I've told you I like the Rockies. 194 ISO against left-handed pitching. The strikeouts are really concerning against lefties for Tovar, but Ryan Yarbrough also has a 17% strikeout rate against righties. So he hasn't missed a lot of bats. So less of a concern for me there.
All right. Outfield here again, pretty obvious where we want to go. Acuna, Judge. We talked Mookie already. JD Martinez is the cover of the playbook today, so a little indication of where my thought process was.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's been on one. He has Aaron Judge-esque numbers in. He has played almost the same amount of games.
Casted this guy away. He didn't want to, and
nothing to do with him.
31, 98, basically 900 OPS. Would have loved to have him in the Red Sox lineup.
I mean, truthfully, they probably would have gotten that from Duvall this year if he stayed healthy.
True.
Based on his sample of games, if you get 100 games out of Duvall or the same amount of games, you probably get similar production for someone a lot cheaper. So,
and JD was locked into the DH, so less roster flexibility there. So.
I don't disagree with your statement. I'm just saying Duvall
technically Justin Turner was the replacement for JD Martinez, and Justin Turner had himself a pretty good year, so can't really be too upset, I guess, on how it played out. But seeing JD be as productive when we kind of figured he was gone. I mean, Turner 23 homers and 96 RBIs. JD's obviously better, but not enough for money wise to be better. So
and JD's Turner's played three infield spots.
Yeah, he started getting second base this year.
So yeah,
100%. Jorge Soler against lefty at $4,800. Would you play Jazz? He's hitting seventh. I know it's lefty, but
he's been bad against lefties. He's been bad against. He's also just correlate the top of the Marlins lineup. They're all good against lefties. The top 4 or 5 are good against lefties. The bottom is not. So just correlate your Marlins with the top half of their lineup.
Yep. Let's see here. More towards the mid-tier. You have Ozuna, homered yesterday, keeps rolling. Harris down to 8th, but I still like him. Teoscar gets a lefty at 42. I know we kind of like Montgomery here, but obviously pretty strong numbers there. Then Seiya's cover of the show today.
Yeah, well, we also had a lefty on the mound. And not to say Seiya's not hitting righties, because he's hitting everybody. He actually has been better against righties this year. 214 ISO, 364 WOBA. The Cubs' middle of the lineup is interesting. Even Candelario back, like that is like 3 to 7 is pretty interesting for the Cubs tonight. I don't suspect many people get there. Just like Teoscar is probably going to be lower owned, but I'll throw Evan Carter into the mix too. I feel like Evan Carter is hitting a home run every time he's playing or stealing a base, like
He is,
every game.
yeah. He is a very good player for Texas. That is for sure. He's cheap, right? Keeps under 4K, $3,900 again. So I like that. Then you have the Hayward Peralta 37, 36. Can you easily plug those guys back in? Likely some popular plays tonight. And then we liked Varsho at 31 and Kiermaier at 29. If you're looking for just some Toronto lefties, see if he can shoot the moon here.
Interesting to see Varsho hitting ninth too. I mean, if you did want to play Toronto and do some like wraparound stuff with Varsho Springer, Varsho Springer Belt, that could be something you explore. But yeah, 3,100 for Varsho makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, let's get to our home run call of the evening here, sir.
I'm feeling a medium. A burger cooked pretty medium, John. We're going to get a home run out of Jake Burger this evening.
All righty. I like that one. I won't cheat and pick a Coors player because, obviously we're probably going to get some power in Coors here. So I'm going to say that John Birdie's power streak continues.
Oh,
okay. We're going to go John Birdie. One, because that will help my Roto team that is in desperate need of home runs here as we go down the final stretch. Only a couple of homers behind, a little cluster of 3. You can gain 3 points there. So let's see if John Birdie can keep it going leading off here. If you want a soft pivot off that, Jorge Soler. We'll go with him as well. Hitting second right behind Birdie. Maybe we'll get back-to-back. Wonder what the Vegas odds are on a back-to-back homer to start a game. Let's see if we can find that.
How about Chase Wright? Chase Wright style. Marlins just hit 4 home runs to start the game.
Yeah, 100%. That would be rough. All right, we talked about favorite stacks. Or obviously we like Atlanta, we like Colorado, or we like the Dodgers. You like Colorado. We both like Miami as a value play today.
Yep.
Without mentioning every team on the slate, is there any other stacks that you'd be looking at tonight?
The only other one I'd really have interest in would be the Cubs, but they're low on the total. They're behind all those teams you mentioned.
Okay. Let's build the lineup for the folks here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to throw them in chat. More than happy to get it going. Aaron, we talked Brandon Belt. We think maybe a little sneaky, a little Toronto play here tonight. Luke Weaver has struggled against lefties. I know the Blue Jays have not hit the ball well lately, but that just means people are off them. So that's where we're at. Where are we going? Talk to me, James, about pitching here. What's the plug?
Look, here's the issue. What do you want to do with the Marlins Mets? I'm down with Mets.
I want Miami. I'm not playing Peterson.
Okay. Then let's just stick with Monty or Luzardo, and this lineup's probably going to fade the Dodgers. I would say it's probably.
Well, we'll see. We might get Hayward or something like that in there.
Okay.
We'll get some pieces, right? We'll get some pieces to it. You want to go Luzardo Bassett here?
Yep.
Okay. That's 4K.
Birdie Rogers is the first 2 people I plugged, just like as cheap options. 3,600 at.
Mark puts up a good point that Fortes has a 190 ISO against lefties. So if you want to just punt catcher,
we can punt catcher. Yep.
2,700 gets us there. What did you put in there? We got Birdie at short and Rogers in.
Yeah. And if you were gonna play Jake Burger and just continue on this Marlins bandwagoning, 4,300, you get 4,750 for the rest of our positions. We could definitely fit some cores in that lineup.
So a full 4 stack is this 5K play, Hayward, AD, 5,600 for a final outfield spot here. Go Soler, go full Miami, five stack Miami on a
David Peterson chalk night.
On a David Peterson chalk night. I mean, listen, if we're gonna be different, there's a way to be different here. Aaron saying, listen, we can definitely do some Toronto here. What if we went off Luzardo and went to Yarbrough. Because people, again, win equities here with Yarbrough. I know
we have Rogers there.
Yeah, but we can move. We can make
get the Mookie. That will probably get to Mookie.
Yeah. 71. It definitely gets to Mookie. So there we go. Just a full 5-man, 4-man, 5-man, 3-man.
3-man. Yeah. We're 5-3. We get our we have elite stack for the Dodgers, and we
Mark
have
has 8, 9, 1, 2, 3 for Miami. So he's kind of with us here. DePrince, let me tell you, is Peterson chalk on FanDuel? I don't think he's going to be because you only need one starting pitcher on FanDuel. So give me a second here.
Mark, you're playing Edwards, huh? Edwards has been pretty good.
He's not. Gilbert, it surprisingly, is actually the highest. I would not want. I don't think I want Gilbert versus Texas. That feels dangerous. I would play Bassett, I think, if I was picking one on FanDuel tonight, personally.
Same. Aaron, I disagree on your only Colorado play as Tovar. I think Brendan Rodgers has been really good if you look at last 10. And if you look at Brendan Rodgers in general throughout his career in Coors Field. I mean, 333 this year, 889 OPS. It's like night and day Brendan Rodgers at home versus on the road. I don't necessarily agree. And I also would play Nolan Jones, who has been one of the hottest hitters in baseball. And you look at Nolan Jones' splits over the course of the year, he has been equally as good against lefties as he has against righties. So I disagree on the Colorado, on Tovar being the only Colorado play. They have 5 implied runs against a lefty in Coors. Like that's, I think there's definitely some plays you can get to.
Yeah. Just playing around with some Toronto here. We got Belt and Varsho in there at 9-2. Again, I don't really like Springer.
I don't either. I don't necessarily either. I was just saying if you wanted to use a wraparound stack. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Can we get Freeman in here? Probably not. Probably get dropped down to Soler. Hayward, $2,500 with 4.
Ooh, scary. That's scary. That's scary territory down there.
What's down here? Anybody? Hampson?
You could. I mean, Hampson isn't the worst.
In 6th, right? Like
Hampson isn't the worst. That just Bouchard homered yesterday. If you wanted to play that,
we had Yarbrough in the lineup, so we'd have to figure that.
That's true.
Another way to get Miami, and this gets you Betts, Freeman, Martinez.
Holy.
In Coors, Betts, Freeman, Martinez in Coors, with Berger, Birdie, Hampson, and Fortes there. So still just straight game stacking, which again on a 5-game slate, you're not going to really throw as many singular darts. Tribute wants to know why Evan. Well, because Evan Carter's been an absolute monster lately. 333 to 13, 36, 4 homers during that stretch, and again, a lot of the numbers coming more so over the last 5 or 6 games.
Yep. I mean, he's been good. I mean, 1,100 OPS in his first 19 games this year.
Yeah. Again, a lot of people are. I mean, listen, Logan Gilbert's one of the higher rostered pitchers, as we said. The 4 starting pitchers on the slate are getting a lot of rostership here tonight. So if you're, nothing, no knock on Logan Gilbert here. It's just that Seager and Adolis and Lowe and Garver and High. That's a tough lineup. He's had some success against them this year, but he's also 0-2. So some tough luck losses to him for sure. If you want to be different, no one's really playing Texas, obviously. So it's just different ways to get around it. If you're gonna play Texas tonight, though, you're gonna get Evan Carter in your lineup. You're not gonna stack Texas and not include one of their hottest hitters on the team right now. It's just not the way to go about it. So, any other thoughts here, James? Any other questions for you guys in the chat? Let us know before we log off for the day. Second to last show of the season here. Nolan Jones has been. You're right. Nolan Jones, Rogers for sure. If you want to do a little mini stack, you said Tovar can throw in there as well. Go off against Yarbrough, totally fine with it. Again, in terms of team implied run totals today, it is the Dodgers, it is the Rockies, and it is the Braves. Those are your 3 highest expected scoring teams on the slate. So find ways to go about it. The Prince favorite outfield spend up tonight. I mean, I have JD Martinez on the cover of the playbook. So him But obviously Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna, like all of those guys are in play. Depends on how you can kind of build your lineup stacks around. I mean, Ronald Acuna last night told 70 stolen bases. He's got 40 home runs. He's the MVP. He's the best player in baseball. We thought, Ohtani is the best overall player we'll ever see. I would agree with you, but Ronald Acuna is doing things that have never been done either. So, pretty legitimate for a 5-game slate. So
how dare him? How dare him? By the way, stop play. How dare him, Holt? They should throw it. They should throw at him tonight.
Yeah,
that's what all the old
stole the bag. All those things.
That's what all the old people are saying right now. Throw at him.
So that's what we got here for everybody this evening. Give us a follow on Twitter if you're not already at Impemba777 at @the_real_grande. If you're not yet a member of the Fantasy Alarm family, as I mentioned, we have a 7-day free trial going on right now. You can scan the QR code or go to fantasyalarm.com/win. Become a member of our Fantasy Alarm team here. Get that 7-day free trial. Get access to all of our premium content, including our NFL Week 4 DFS content is available to you as well. If you with that 7-day free trial, our Discord access and all the good stuff that comes with a full subscription. Our annual subscription is 40% off the month-to-month cost, so you can save a little bit of money there if you become a member of the family for a year. Second to last stream, one more to go before the end, and then we take a little break before basketball, but we don't go anywhere. The playbook content continues to roll throughout the MLB playoffs. James and I will be back tomorrow, everybody. Good luck tonight, and we will catch you all later.